Hey, what's up YouTube? Cincinnati Picker here, and today I'm going to show you how I sold $3,400 in 60 days on eBay. Some of you guys, that probably doesn't sound like a lot. Some of you are probably full-time eBayers, selling a lot more than that. I'm just doing it part-time. I used to sell full-time on eBay, but I started my own online auction business. Look what I found that you see in the background there. So now I'm selling a lot more on my own website and not as much on eBay, but still. 3,400 to 60 days is a good chunk of money, and if you're just starting out or you're thinking about starting out, that could be some really nice extra income for you in 2 months. So it's always good to have an extra revenue stream, and that's what eBay has been for me, even though I've got my own business now. So I'm going to walk you through some of the things that I sold. Over here on the left, you'll see my sold in the last 60 days, 59 items, $3,400. I'm not going to go through every single one. I just kind of want to show you guys, some of the things that I did well on and kind of show you what to keep an eye out for. So we come down here to my sold. Some of this stuff you've probably seen in recent videos. This right here, Sony Walkman, sold $34.99. I picked this up at an estate sale for $3. Nobody really thinks much of these things, but they sell really well. Same with the tape player Walkmans; they do really good. So definitely keep your eye out for those. Street Box drum machine sold for $80. Picked this up for $5 at a sale. Didn't have the power cord, but just put batteries in it and it worked fine. Nioxin scalp therapy treatment. This was a bunch of different cosmetics things I picked up at yard sales for like a quarter each, sold for $9. Even after the free shipping, I made $5-6 on it. So this right here is something I want to point out to you guys. I sold a softball bat. Someone actually brought this to me to sell for them. A buddy of mine, Matt. And this is just, it's an old softball bat. If you saw it, you wouldn't think anything of it. You're just like, oh, okay, this is a crappy softball bat. But a lot of these, old bats are selling really high. This one's selling for $130. Another one to keep an eye out for is Easton Z2K. All right, I'm just going to do a really quick search here of Easton Z2K. Right off the bat, you can see crazy numbers, people are asking. So we'll come down here and click on sold. Sold for $5.99. These bats sold for $2,000. This one sold for $650. I mean, it's just crazy what some of these older bats are going for. So keep your eye out for old bats. The model number will always be somewhere on the barrel. Like this one, for example, model number is right kind of underneath that V. TPS, SR34. So if you come across one, just search that model number real quick, and you'll know whether or not it's worth buying. Golf clubs. Picked up this Titleist Vokey sand wedge at the yard sale for like 10 or 20 bucks. Sold it for 50. It was in perfect condition. The vast majority of golf clubs that you find are not going to be worth anything. I mean, 99% of them are just going to be junk. But every once in a while, you'll find ones. Brand names to look for: Titleist, TaylorMade, Nike. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. Ink cartridges. I've talked about this a lot. So I found this one at a grocery store. They had clearanced it down to like $2 and sold this one for 17. And I sold a lot of other ones already too. So anytime you come across ink cartridges, just look at the expiration date. As long as they're no more than a year or two old, then usually they'll sell. But yeah, they're great pickups, quick and easy sales, easy to ship too. Just throw them in a bubble mailer and send them off first class. See what else we got here. So this was a great find. This is a Polycom Sound Station conference phone. I got this for $2 at an auction, and sold it for 90. It took a little while. I think it took about a month to sell, but it finally did sell. I mean, it was clean. It was great. This is one of those things where, you know, when you come across something, if you think you have an inkling that it might be worth something, just look it up. You know, you can always. That's really how you learn. Is just looking everything up on eBay, because a lot of times you can really be surprised. This here was a Harman Kardon stereo receiver. So this right here I picked up at the Goodwill outlet in a bin. I think it weighed like 20 pounds, so I had to pay like 17 or 18 bucks for it, but still pretty good. Harman Kardon is a really good brand. They sell really well. They just make great speakers, great stereo, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for that stuff. This watch here I found at a bargain hunt store. So these bargain hunt stores, what they do is they date the items when they come in, and then when you go to shop around, depending on what the date is on the item, you get a certain percentage off. So these were like 70% off, I think. Got them for like $12 each. Picked up 3 or 4 of them. Sold them for 40. You know, very good find. Digital tuner converter box. So I talked about this in a video the other day. These are all over the place. You can usually find them for $5 or less. When they were brand new, they sold for like 40 or 50. Basically, if somebody has an old TV, doesn't have the digital signal, these convert them. So these sell really well. They sell quickly, between 20 and 30 bucks. So always keep your eyes peeled for these. Another softball bat, you know, 90 bucks. D. Marini. Just goes to show you these things sell really well. I found some Legos at an auction. I think I paid $12 for these. You know, no surprise, Legos sell really well. I'm not really telling you guys anything there. But what's interesting about this one is I didn't know if it was complete. So I just sold it, you know, like, you know, showed all the pieces that were there pretty much. Said, you know, wasn't sure if it was complete, and, you know, buyer just kind of assumed the responsibility for it, you know, as is. Now this right here, I pulled out of a Goodwill bin. You know, wound up paying $5 for it. Handheld receiver sold for 180. Vintage Sony stuff sells really, really well. You know, especially weird stuff like this. Like, you don't see a whole lot of these receivers. This one was like mint in the box, worked great. Like, probably never used it. So anytime you see old Sony stuff, just look it up. I mean, more often than not, it's going to sell for good money. Another digital converter box. Just all kinds of stuff. I found this massager. Again, this was in a Goodwill bin. Wasn't very expensive, sold for 60 bucks. This thing was pretty crazy. Basically, it's got these handles that you hold, and it just, you know, it vibrates really fast, gives you a good massage. Another watch. Found this Porsche DVD. This one I think was basically like new. Sold for 30 bucks. Anytime, you know, you come across a book, a DVD, something that is very topical for a niche market, you know, like anybody that owns Porsches are pretty much crazy about Porsches. So you find that person that wants it, and it's going to sell pretty good. Beachbody DVDs. Okay, so the Insanity DVDs, the P90X DVDs, all those, they sell really good. They sell, you know, between 20 and 50 bucks. Anytime you can pick those up, definitely pick them up. People love them, and, you know, you can get good money for them. All right, so this right here, I want to point out to you guys, this is a handheld Texas Hold'em poker game. Okay, sold for 19 bucks. I paid like $2 for it at a yard sale. These handheld games sell really well. Radica is the name brand that you're wanting to look for more often than not with these. The Radica brands, they're the better games. They sell for good money, but I mean, there's tons of them like Yahtzee and all kinds of handheld ones that just sell really well. Another softball bat, 80 bucks. Calculators. Calculators always sell 30, 40 bucks if they're the TI-83, TI-84, something like that. Just because students need them, If they're like 100 bucks new, you can see what they're selling for new at these different sites. So when they can pick them up used, that's the way to go. Another thing to consider with these calculators, if you're just starting out buying and reselling, just, buy what you know. So when I was starting out, I knew that calculators were expensive because I had to buy one when I was in college. So when I saw one at the yard sale for $5, I just knew, like, yeah, that's a good deal. So when you start out, you don't have to go, crazy with stuff, but just buy what you know and you'll kind of learn from there. Now this here was the best find I've had all year. I was at an auction and found this Fender Princeton reverb amp. I couldn't really test it or anything. They didn't have a plug, but I looked it up. I looked at the serial number on the back and figured out pretty quickly that it was from '66. So I was kind of looking at prices, saw that they were worth a pretty good penny, so I decided to go for it. Wound up paying $170 for it. I got it home, plugged it in. It was like smoking out the back. It didn't have any sound. I mean, I was like, man, I really got a lemon with this thing. So what I did was I just started it at $1 auction. And, down here in the description, I wrote everything like, yeah, it smokes, it doesn't really work, selling it as is, and it still sold for $1,100. So that was a great, great find. Pretty much any old musical instruments or amplifiers you can find, look them up. They sell really well. More often than not, people are going to want too much money for them. Most of the people that have vintage musical stuff, they know what it's worth. So you're not really going to fool a whole lot of people with that one. Last thing I'll show you here is a Kodak photo print kit. Also found this at Bargain Hunt, paid like 20 bucks for it, sold for 100. Any kind of, print kits, ink cartridges, stuff like that. It sells pretty well, especially when it's new in the box. I think this one had a little bit of damage to the box, but wasn't a big deal. Still sold for 100 bucks. That is all I've got, guys, for my eBay sales. Please comment below and subscribe, and I will have more videos for you. See you next time.